Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best, most effective, cutting edge, most useful brain body tools. So you could, and you guys, today is January 1st. That's when this episode is released. And Happy New Year, first of all. And I wanted to update the description for all of you what this podcast is going to be about in 2024, in the new year. So all of the tools that you're going to be learning, all of the strategies, all of the guests that you're going to hear from, going to help you to build better habits, make better decisions, and basically help you to be the healthiest, most productive, happiest, good-looking, most successful you, performing at your highest level, feeling your best, and unlocking as much of your potential as possible. And I'm going to be learning with you, just like all of the guests that are going to come to this podcast. Yes, we all know certain things better. We learn, we practice, we have certain skills better than some other people, but we also are all on the journey. And believe me, nobody is perfect. I talk to some elite performers, some billionaires, and we all have stuff to work on. So always remember that while listening to any of the episodes, and never, never, never be discouraged to approach a change just because it seems from the place where you are right now as a big leap. We all don't have our shit figured out, and we work on some things and we don't work on other things, and our performance across the board is better and worse in some and other areas. So don't look up to someone thinking they're perfect, including myself or any of the guests that are going to come to this podcast. And also, don't look down on anyone. They might not be as good at something that you're great at, but they might be a heck of a high performer in other areas, right? So don't compare, just work on yourself, grow, improve, learn, and get closer and closer to the life experience that you desire. That's what this podcast is all about, helping you to get closer and closer to the best version of yourself you envision and to the best version of your life that you want to build. Today, folks, I'm doing live review of my last year. I'm going to share with you the best, most effective, most profound tools and also insights that I learned by doing things, experimenting, by reading books and putting them into practice. And it's kind of an accumulation of learnings from books and experts, and then putting things into practice myself and with my clients and all of the people who I got a chance to interact with. And then drawing lessons from them to not carry over the things that I learned did not work, and I know, and instead bring more of the things that I learned do work and expand them and create more of them in the new year. So this year, 2024, is better than the last one. We live and learn. That's what life is all about, getting a little bit better and closer to what we want get out of this life every single day, or at least every single year. So without further ado, my yearly review, from which you're also gonna learn a couple of things, maybe more, and give them a thought and think, where could you also apply it, put it into action in your very personalized, unique way. Number one, the most challenging part when it comes to getting results, as I learned, the most challenging part is not listening to our moods to make decisions in life, in health, and business. And what I mean by that is when we set a goal and we decide to pursue a course of action, we decide to go after anything, be that again a business goal, a health goal, a fitness goal, a relationship goal, whatever that might be, our moods throughout that journey are going to change several times a day. And if we truly want to get the result that we don't have, if we want to progress forward, and again, speaking from personal experience and speaking from professional experience as well, working with my clients and seeing their transformation journeys and experiencing my own transformation journey. So whenever we set the goal and we go after it, we put action steps in place, we put plans in place, remember that your mood gonna change, but the most results we're going to get when we are consistent. And don't listen to your minute-to-minute moods. Instead, create a plan, set the points to check in and adjust course of action. For me, it's every week doing reviews and looking at the results that I got, at actions that worked, that didn't work, and then deciding whether I should stick with the same plan or change the strategy to get better results. Having those check-in points scheduled and not deviating from the course of action throughout the whole week, that really started making a difference in my business at the end of the year. Whereas before, I applied it to my fitness and health, and I would, for example, show up for my workouts or my healthy eating routine, no matter what, no matter how I felt. But then in my work, I did not do so, and I would change course of action based on my moods or certain things that would happen in my day more often than I should have. And because of that, I did not get the results that I could have gotten. And what helped me to change that, you'll also learn about shortly. But the main takeaway here, and guys, think about that. Do you do that in the area where you are trying to improve, where you might be going through a lot of challenges and feeling stuck? Do you change the things that you do based on your mood? Might be that the reason why you are not progressing? So the most challenging part of achieving the goal, what I learned, is not listening to my mood, but instead pursuing the course of action and only considering the change at the scheduled check-in points. That for me, every week for certain things, I do 2 weeks, depending on obviously the strategy and how much time it might take for results to actually show. The second thing, like-minded people, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, support from them, accountability to each other. Those are the best ways to make any progress much faster, and the best way to overcome any obstacle or stuck point. Ask for help. That's what I learned. Ask for help. Ask for advice. Give people who have the experience, who have more expertise in the area, who care about you, who know you a little bit more than, a stranger. Ask for help, ask for advice, for feedback, for tips. Stay accountable to at least one person when you pursue any challenging goal. Like at the end of the year, I got coaching from a mentor of mine from a dear friend now. He has much more experience in the entrepreneurial world, working with founders, with business owners, and getting him to keep me accountable, to check in with me, to give me feedback on different strategies, giving me his opinion. That really started to make a difference at the end of the year, and I wish I did that before. And now I have 2 accountability partners for my business who have more experience, who gonna give me their time and their attention that I really, really value, because they're all also very busy people, and they're amazing people. They really care about others and who they especially coach and mentor. And coaching, I myself a coach, as you know, and that is such a shortcut. When you can get a good coach who knows their stuff to help you, to keep you accountable, to keep you on track, that's a huge difference. All of the clients that I'm working with, they've been stuck and they're getting progress. And it's not because I'm that special and amazing and no other coach can do that. No, it's because I really cared and I kept them accountable and I tracked the progress and I understood their situation and I was there to help and to keep them going no matter what. So the main takeaway here, other people are your ultimate shortcut. Do not do it alone, especially if you've been stuck for a while. Delegate things, hire people for the things you're not great at, but also just surround yourself with people who elevate your game. And that's going to be the biggest game changer in your life and your business. And I only started to tap into that right now, but that's something that I'm definitely doubling down on in 2024. So like-minded people, folks, if you don't have them, like put all of your attention there, create your tribe. Number 3, nutrition, exercise, lifestyle. The thing that matters the most here for results is having the right strategy, because also there are dumb ways of doing that, like going on some diet and not really understanding how your biology works and expecting results and they do not come, and then being frustrated even though you might be very, very consistent. But if it's not the working strategy, not going to work. And there are a lot of things that don't work, like keto. A lot of people go on, lose their health, stop losing weight, gain all the weight back, and think that the diets don't work and they are broken for some reason. There are so many ways you can compromise your own progress, just like in business. If your strategy isn't applicable to your situation, or maybe it's outdated, or you're not doing it right, like no matter how consistent you are, you're not going to get results. So there should be a combination of the right strategy applied at the right time to the right situation and being consistent with that. Like that is the ultimate recipe for getting progress and getting more successful in any area. Very often by yourself, it's very hard to get the recipe right. But also a small sub lesson here is without consistency, no strategy will work for you. That's also been a lesson for my own personal transformation journey. I wanted to lose a few kilos for quite some time, and first half of the year did not succeed really, not because I was, not eating healthy. That was not it for me, but because the calories, for example, were just not there. And as soon as I got consistent with the calorie intake, I started tracking it, making sure that I am in a slight deficit every single day. Guess what? Those kilograms started to go down and I lost 4.5 kilos. Probably going to lose another kilo for the state I want to be in for 2024, looking like a superhero. That's my goal. But yeah, take away our lesson in review number 3, nutrition, exercise, business, the thing that matters the most, having the right strategy and being consistent with it. And obviously, tracking your progress and adjusting as needed. But if you lack either consistency or the right strategy, results will not come. Number 4, on productivity. What really matters, and I understood it so freaking well that I am not doing this mistake ever again. So what am I talking about here? Time when you do things, like for example, you decided to write an article, that's a true story from my life, and you decided, I'm just going to do it at the end of the day, when I already do all this client work and do lead generation and cold calls, I'm just going to do it in my spare couple of hours at the end of the day. Almost never happens, folks. Time of the day and your peak performance times really matter for, first of all, for doing the thing that you said you're going to do. But then the second thing is delivering the quality. And one of my lessons in today's review is about quality. If it's not of good quality, if you cannot be the best or the only, don't even bother. In the age of really, really short, well, not actually short attention span, but a lot of competition for people's attention, you either have to be really good or you have to be the only. There has to be like the X factor. And if you don't have it, if you cannot deliver on it, don't even bother. Unless it's, like you don't want to do anything outstanding with what you do. or make a difference, then of course you can deliver mediocrity probably any time of the day. But for quality results and to stay consistent with the things that are challenging and you promise to yourself to deliver productivity one-on-one time and your peak performance times really matter. Like, what is your type? Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? Are you sure? Or just drinking too much coffee and can't fall asleep at night? What is your peak performance time? When is your mind the most clear it can possibly be? When do you deliver your best work? Schedule stuff accordingly. And then maintenance stuff like emails or some other minor errands, schedule them when you're off your peak and do them whenever, because it doesn't really matter. So productivity in 2024 is all about the right kind of scheduling, and you will deliver a lot more work in a lot less time. That's when you can truly deliver 2x amount of work and more in the same amount of hours or less when you schedule it right. I call it circadian productivity because it's linked to how you biologically wired, whether you are a morning person, a late night person, and when your peak times occur. Number 5, eliminating open loops. What is also known is Zeigarnik effect or Zeigarnik effect. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. I was reminded of this effect in the book that was on the podcast episode, either last one or before last, where we did book study on willpower. Yeah, I believe it was the last episode. So Zeigarnik effect. When you have things that you are not decided about and you know you gotta do them, when you have this open loop and it just keeps coming back to your mind over and over and over again, it's your subconscious reminding you, as Zeigarnik effect is described, to take action, actually not to take action, but to make a plan to resolve that loop, to resolve that problem. And you don't have to necessarily finish it, but you have to make a plan to finish it. So for example, if you need to, let's say, buy milk or whatever, and you need to get it for your family, for yourself, and your life gonna not go well if you don't get it. Maybe it's water, something like that. So you need to put it in your schedule. I'm gonna get it, let's say today, 6 p.m. while on my way from home to work. Now it's January 1st. You might not be going from work to home or from home to work, but make a plan to solve this problem. And that closes the loop. And then what happens is your processing power, your working memory, they're now freed and not holding this to-do list. And what they noticed in research and in studies, now you can actually be more focused. You're not that distracted. You can actually pay attention to things. You work on more and you learn better. Your memory works better. You deliver better work. You're not all over the place. I believe a lot of ADHD people these days just have a lot of open loops. It's just there are so many things you never put a plan for, and that's why they keep looping in your mind, taking that processing power to those open loops instead of the work at hand or decisions you gotta make or something you need to process to work on. So eliminating open loops, just simply writing it down and putting a reminder to look at this list of things to do, that also counts as closing your loop. I was actually in a relationship once, like a couple of years ago, and the guy was also a coach. And when we had something unresolved between us, he's like, Angela, we need to close this loop. He would literally tell me this. And he would say, I cannot work like that effectively if this loop is not closed. So we would close it and then we would be at peace, or at least we would schedule a time to go over that. And I noticed that in relationship, that was also such a hack. Don't just carry this stuff. Put it out in the open, schedule to talk about that. I also, whatever this uncomfortable conversation is with either your romantic partner or with your mom or dad, with your sister, with anyone, don't have open loops. Either put it on your calendar to deal with that, or put it out in the open and deal with that. So that's on opening loops that also will increase your productivity, your learning ability, will decrease your ADHD, distractibility, and a lot of other good things will happen. Number 6, about decisions. Your poorest decisions. And guys, don't forget, this whole list is my yearly review. That is me talking to myself to remember all of these things. And also now I have them written down conveniently. So number 6, your poorest decisions are going to be made when you're tired, overwhelmed, rushed, hungry, with lack of sleep. One of those will do the job. So when you are tired, overwhelmed, rushed, hungry, lack of sleep, you're going to make the worst decisions. So the solution here is to change your state, get rest, create clarity for the overwhelm, focus on what you can control, and define very clearly what is in your control zone, and focus only on that. Find space and time when you're not rushed, when you're not hungry, have some food. That is also, by the way, has been mentioned in Willpower book that we talked about last time, that they did research, they did studies. So like, for example, they analyzed data on judges when they let people out more often. And the funny pattern emerged. When judges were at their top peak performance time, usually in the morning or after breakfast or lunch break, they would let people out more often, considerably more often, almost like 20 to 80%. So 80% of people would get better decision on their case than in other times when they were just before lunch or just before going home from work, basically tired and already overwhelmed and hungry and having all this tension accumulated. So judges made much more linear decisions when they were in good state. Guess what? All of us are the same freaking creatures. We do our worst decisions, our most negative decisions. We don't think long term. Exactly when we are tired, hungry, overwhelmed, lack of sleep, all of that, and especially if that all compiles, gonna make you make your worst decision. When analyzing decisions that I make, that's exactly what would happen. So anytime I need to make decisions, I do not do it right before sleep when all this fatigue and tiredness accumulated. I do it in the morning. Number 7, quality of our lives is the quality of our relationships. It took me a while to understand this. I'm 36 years old, and it took me a while to really feel it, that life sucks when your relationships suck, when you don't put attention there, when you don't build good friendships, good romantic relationship, or good relationship with your parents, when you don't create great dynamics in your relationships. That's what the quality of your life sucks the most. That's what draining your mood and your energy. And that, of course, goes to many things. Don't surround yourself with people who make you feel worse every time you see that. That takes a lot of work, right? Don't interact a lot with those people, even if they're your relatives. Like, my mom, my dad, I love them. But they're also a little bit on the negative side. So I try not to spend that much time listening to them, or I bring my best mood to the table. And then friendships and building long-term deeper relationships, they take work, they take showing up, they take consistency, they take doing things that are inconvenient, and also it takes compromise and uncomfortable conversations. But guess what? This is what's gonna grow you the most. And I'm talking to myself here. And guess also what? That's gonna make you alive, feel the best, no matter what else happens in it. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're succeeding in business or not so much, whether even you're healthy or not that healthy, or fit or not that fit. Relationships are truly the quality of your life. So put in work there. Number 8, we have 4 more to go. Number 8, sleep. what you do before sleep is the biggest obstacle or the biggest boost to your sleep. Meaning what you eat, what you drink, for example, caffeine too late, alcohol too often, the environment where you sleep, dark, cool, and quiet, dark, cool, and quiet. Remember those things? Like also pillow, for example, for me, if the pillow is uncomfortable and the bed is uncomfortable, I cannot sleep no matter like how, well, maybe if I'm like super tired, but still. If there is noise, if it's too hot, if I drink caffeine too late, if I had light too bright before going to bed, all of that gonna affect the quality of my sleep. If I worked on my computer, was watching some TV and social media, also regularity matters a lot. If you sleep schedule is all over the place. One day you go to the 10, the next day you're going to go at 12, the next day sometime else. They call it jet lag for a reason, social jet lag, because it feels like a jet lag and you won't be able to sleep effectively no matter what you do, melatonin or no melatonin. It's not the same as getting natural sleep. So sleep, what you do before matters a lot more than what you do during, even though, of course, sleep environment also matters a huge time, like dark, cool, quiet, comfortable bed, light exposure in the morning, and then also bright light, bright artificial light at night, all the devices, all of that gonna change the quality of your sleep. So, and sleep, as we know, is the quality of your day, from your mental health to your emotional regulation, to your stress management, to your ability to learn, to be productive, to also be very social and don't feel socially anxious. All of that depends on great quality of sleep. Your weight loss, your fat loss, your fitness progress, quality of sleep is everything. And what you do before sleep matters more than anything else. Number 9, if you don't have a solid plan for it, it won't happen. What do I mean here? Well, for the past half a year, I was trying to get my another certification in sleep and recovery in precision nutrition, and I was not succeeding. The reason why I was not succeeding is because I would not plan those 60 to 80 hours in my schedule to do the work required to get the certification and do this studying. And also the same goes to my hobbies. I wanted to do that many hobbies: kite surfing and singing and dancing and playing, what do they call it here in Cape Town? Something like tennis, but it's called differently. Rollerblading, so many things didn't happen, not because I did not have any time for it, but because I didn't plan it. So if you don't put it on your schedule, if you don't plan for it, if you don't commit to it, it's not going to happen. Nobody has the time. Like, everyone is busy. You will find a way to occupy every single minute of your time. And if you don't schedule the things that create beautiful life experience, that change you, that change your life satisfaction, they are not gonna happen. So moving forward for me, I'm actually sitting down tomorrow to schedule my certification. Studying in 3 months, I want to finish 2 things: sleep and recovery certification and communication course from one of the best communication teachers these days. This Australian guy, his name is Vin, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I believe he's Korean, but amazing. If you are on Instagram, you know who I'm talking about. So this is 3 months, and what I'm going to do, the only thing I need to do is put it in the schedule. And here's a caveat: put in some slack time. Sometimes things will happen and you will have to change your schedule. This is just life. So add slack time. About 20% is a good amount, so you for sure deliver the result. One thing I'm never going to do, well, never say never, right? But I'm not planning to do is set myself up for failure. And when you don't add slack time, it's almost a guarantee that you're gonna fail at this goal. And that goes for my business goals, for my personal goals, for anything. Add slack time, about 20% of it. Number 10, leave a space for life to say yes to unexpected. The other day, I was getting a coffee in a coffee shop, and the guy, was a really nice guy, offered me a ginger shot that he makes himself in the coffee shop every morning for cleansing, etc. And he adds a dash of like honey and lemon. And I'm on this journey to get into my superhero shape, and I'm like, no, I don't want it. And I said that simply because there was a dash of honey, and honey is like not on my to eat food list. But then as I went out of it, I'm like, Angela, you were going to work out. This ginger shot only probably would do you just good. Like, say yes to freaking small things. Your life might open up with colors. And yes, when I get focused, I'm like a horse with those blinders. And it doesn't always add to the quality of my life. And so my resolution for 2024 is to be a yes person. Yes, sometimes you have to say no because you have priorities, but more often than not, when people offer you things out of their kindness of their heart and you want to do them and you actually do have the time, say yes. That's how life opens up to us, presents opportunities that we do not expect, and offers all the abundance it has to offer. So say yes, don't be so focused, and leave space for the serendipity and unexpected. And the last but not least, number 11, do great work or don't bother. Nobody has the time for mediocrity. Be the best or the only. Create the experience for other people. And that goes to my experience speaking, delivering workshops, presentations this past year. And regretfully, I need to say I did not do my best job of preparing for a lot of those events. And I delivered pretty good job, especially if you compare it to somebody who didn't do any preparation, but it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't special. It wasn't a wow experience. And I know I have it in me to deliver just that. And in the era, again, back to the same theme of a lot of demand for people's attention. If you don't deliver something special, it's like it never happened. It's like you don't exist. And that is the true reality. So be the best or the only. The best will take time. The only, you might always figure out an angle how to pull off something that makes people say, wow, that was something different, something I liked. And that for me personally means how I'm going to put it into practice. More preparation. Like twice as much at least. So instead of a couple of days for a small workshop, 4 days. So I also have the time, and that's actually based on creativity studies. So I also have the time to do a little bit of procrastination or allow thoughts and ideas to ferment, not having to rush them. So then I can truly deliver something unique. And that's what seems to be the best way to unlock more of your creativity. Like, know what you need to work on, like open up the file, learn about the assignment, about the gig, the workshop, what you need to deliver at the audience, all of that. And then allow a day or a couple of days for it to ferment and keep putting the ideas on paper, and then have enough time to prepare without rush. And you'll be surprised based on the best creativity expert who also actually are very successful in the real world, like Rick Rubin, for example, one of the most creative people who also wrote a book on creativity, been on the most popular podcasts on Apple Huberman Lab podcast, right? So that rumination period, unplugged period, when you know what you need to work on, but you allow your creative mind to work on it uninterrupted, unrushed. So that really matters for delivering results that are something special, that is something unique. And that's what I'm going to put into practice, just allowing more time of preparation for each single one of the event. And I have a few workshops on the 16th, on the 17th, on the 18th of January. And I already put on schedule the preparation time needed for each individual workshop, and they're actually very aligned. So that also gonna help. So do great work or don't bother. That's again, note to self and my yearly review, what I'm gonna focus on in 2024, things that didn't really work because I didn't work on them or I learned through experience. This is not how to do it. Re-listen to this episode if you feel connected to any of the points here. If you'd like more resources on any of the points you heard, please reach out to Angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. If you don't find me there, go to Instagram, search for Angela Brain Body Coach, Angela Brain Body Coach, find me there, either comment on one of my posts to get my attention or send me a message and ask for more resources, give me feedback. Guys, I'd love more feedback in 2024 on my podcast, so please do connect. That would make such a huge difference to me. And also share this podcast, screenshot it, tag me again on Instagram or Threads, or I'm also on X, Angela Shurina. Find me, give me feedback, review, rate podcast, and share, so we all can create better life experience in 2024. And as I said, the intention for this podcast in 2024, build better habits, make better decisions, and live as our healthiest, most productive, happiest, most good looking and most successful self as we possibly can be. So that's the intention. We're going to use science as our guide, expertise of profound people of the arena of science, arts, creativity, neuroscience, health, and beyond. And what else? Well, happy 2024. Stay tuned. We're gonna be doing 3 podcast episodes each week. So keep me accountable. If you need more accountability for your health, fitness, nutrition journey, go to brainbreakthroughcoach.com/free session. Claim your free Health 360 Productivity Performance Strategist session. Go to brainbreakthroughcoach.com/free session. And what else? Happy New Year. And you'll hear from me very soon. Thank you for being with me.